What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. My voice is lost and I'm just getting it back, but I wanted to come on here and give you a little intro because today we have a very special guest, Fahim Anwar, one of my all-time favorite comedians. So I really hope you enjoy this podcast. If you want to check him out further, I'm going to leave links down below, but fahimanwar.com is where you can find all his tour dates. He's touring right now, and I highly recommend seeing him live. 2 specials of his that I want to really recommend: Hat Trick, which he shot at the Comedy Store, and he shot in all 3 of their spaces. Super cool. And his most recent, House Money, is out on YouTube as well right now. Please check that out. Like and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. We're just growing as a channel, and your like and subscribe means the world to us. So without further ado, please enjoy Fahim Anwar.
People do travel. Like, even at the show last night, there was a couple that came from Ohio. They flew. I'm like, what? Yeah,
That must feel
that
good.
happens sometimes. Like, I think last time I went on tour, I was doing Wise Guys, and then somebody flew from, I forgot where they flew from, but like, it's been happening every now and then where like somebody says they flew in, and then I just feel so bad because I'm me. I don't think I'm flight worthy. You know, like if you're gonna drive, if I'm doing Austin, you're like, oh, I drove from Houston. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Right.
Like
Well, how
a
long
long
is it?
drive I can handle,
Yeah.
but like
Like a flight,
you
like a
you
hotel.
undid your belt and you put luggage through a conveyor belt to see me.
Go to see
That's too much
Fahim.
pressure. Like even getting a babysitter, I'm like, fuck, they got a babysitter. This is Friday, Saturday. This is top. I gotta play the hits.
Yeah.
I gotta give them a show.
Oh.
We hopped on a plane. Like, thank God I found out after the show. If you told me that before, I'd be like, oh my God, they got on a plane. I have to be like
Too much
Wayne
pressure.
Newton or something, or I have to be like Elvis in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Yeah. I guess that's a good sign, right? You get to that level, and you're.
No, I just shake them. I go, never do that again. You look at me. Never get on a plane for me, okay? Matt Rife, yes. But me, no.
So what? You just came out with a special like 5 or 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, I think... when
House
was
Money?
it? House Money. I think late February was it that came out? I forget. February or May. Yeah,
That's
House
awesome.
Money.
That's awesome.
Another YouTube jam. I'm exclusive. I signed a 10-year deal with YouTube where all my content has to be uploaded to YouTube and nowhere else.
Are you serious?
No.
I
that'd be
was
so
literally
funny.
like, I wouldn't have been surprised if that were a fucking
Do
thing.
they do exclusive deals? Like,
Oh, no, that was
just have,
stupid
I
of
just
me.
have like medium number views, and I'm like, I have an exclusive deal with. I mean, that's kind of my joke. Like, because sometimes I get introduced to the store, they're like, he has a great YouTube special, or and I'm like, yeah. Or they say he has a great special, check it out. I'm like, yes, it's on YouTube. I go, they don't let anybody upload on there. You got to be somebody. I'm like, I was gonna go to Vimeo, but YouTube had a better offer. Just their UI is a little better.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think like, is Netflix like what really is better?
I'm
right
half
now?
joking. It's just I enjoy the self-deprecating stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like if we're talking about where the business is headed and all that, it is cool that all these specials exist on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and so many people are discovering me from YouTube. It's almost like the dam is broken and there's just all this flood of great content people are getting.
Yeah.
I find that stand-up comedy is becoming like record stores in the 90s where people are taking ownership of discovering artists. So many people be like, yo, I brought them to your show. Like, your video popped up, or I found you from this. And
Yeah.
people are excited about like discovering comedians. Whereas it was kind of harder to do that back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s because you just had one tap. It was like you had Comedy Central, and then you had Netflix a little later, and that was it. And there's some great comics who came out of those, but it's like it's within a certain band or whatever. So, but now there's like all these. It's like baby metal. There's all these like weird fucking comedy genres
Yeah.
and personalities that maybe like demographically I wouldn't make sense back then.
Right.
Because I'm just like an Afghan American observational comic,
Yeah.
where it's like, who's that demo for? You know, like if you're a betting man and you're like a suit at Comedy Central or Netflix, you're like, what is the huge swath of people? Whereas if you're like Indian, Black, Chinese, like there's like a large racial demo that you kind of speak to. But I'm like, Afghan's too niche, and I'm not even talking about Afghan. So it's like, I have the teeniest of cards, and I'm not even playing it. so they're like, that's okay. So that's why I'm so glad that YouTube and the internet has come around, because there is an audience out there. There's just people who like funny stuff and don't really care what you look like.
Yeah, I love that, man.
It's refreshing. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like once that's the source, I mean, yeah, people can find like stuff and it can become like sleeper hits or whatever in comedy kind of thing, you know, or like.
Yeah, or there's just, I mean, even I'm this way with music as well. I'm not a big top 40 guy. Every now and then something will slip through, but like for as great, like look, Espresso's a jam. Espresso's a bop, all right? Love Sabrina Carpenter. But there's a lot of stuff that pops up in my Spotify that it's this amazing song, and I'll look and it has like 500 monthly listeners or something. It's like so minuscule.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is amazing. Everyone,
Right.
and I try to turn people onto it. So I get excited.
And then you feel
like,
a part of that
I feel
process.
Like, yeah, like ownership, and I discover it. And
Right.
people are doing that with comedy.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels good to like, oh, all right. I'm just so close to it. Like I don't hold comedy because I do it so much. But even musicians, like I'm fans of some musicians, and they're like, oh man, I love it. I'm like, no, I love what I want to do what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You know, it's like, I guess that's the result of like a globalized world, you know, where we're just like, everything is connected. You can go as deep as you want. And I imagine as time passes, it'll be like,
Yeah, just like beamed into your head. You're like, have you heard about this guy? You like, right? Because first we had physical media. Now it's all streaming. And then now we're going to be in like slime pods. Just, this is how we get our content. We're just like, oh.
I know, dude, I hear a lot of people say that and joke
Slime
about it,
pods?
but it's like, and then we make movies about it, right? Somebody was telling me, I think it was on this podcast, we were talking about, Wall-E, you know, like that beginning scene where like everybody's just like all fat and they roll around in these like pods and like somebody feeds them, the machine feeds them a shake.
Yeah.
And they just like
That's the next
just, like, watching
idiocracy. Like
something.
Wall-E predicted everything.
Totally.
Right? Well, yeah, Wall-E was ahead of its time.
Totally. That's the future
I had
right
this joke
there.
because, like, I don't know. I always do think about the Matrix and the slime pods and all that. I had this joke where I'm talking about, like, they're saying everyone's worried about AI taking jobs. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, let them. Like, what's so great about jobs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let them take
like
the job. I'm like, I just want to be in a nutrient slime, pod. It's like my whole life I just have no eyebrows. I'm like, that'd be great. I don't have to go to work. I'm just like,
He's just asleep.
I'm like, you think I want to be here? I don't want to be on stage. Even though I'm only working for like 15 minutes to an hour a night. But then I go, I think this is the only job that is protected from AI because nobody wants to watch an AI comedian. I'm like, are you having sex with her? Yeah. Is he good in bed? What do you do for work? Like, no, they want to see that from a human for some reason.
I know, but dude, is that the question? Like, okay, I think I heard somebody saying like, all right, well, you can replicate this conversation, and then in like 10 years, it's going to be like you plug into the Chat GPT visual thing. Like, give me a comic, like mix, like, Rogan and Fahim and like whoever else, Bill Burr, and like, and like, give me that combo in a comic and put him up on stage and give me an hour. And then it'll like make up an hour set. And
it's pretty good, but it can't stop eating spaghetti really weirdly. That's the one kink. Like, we're almost there with AI, but it always eats spaghetti oddly for some reason. We didn't even put spaghetti in the prompt, but any AI you generate, it just has just weird spaghetti eating.
Yeah, what was that? Will Smith
the
did that?
Will Smith
totally.
eating
There's always some tell.
Yeah, that's like the first. We'll flash forward 100 years from now when robots are destroying Earth. But it all started with like Will Smith weirdly eating spaghetti. Like the aliens or the robots will have that on a plaque. Like, this was our moon landing, kind of.
Yeah, totally.
It was a milestone for AI.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you about your comedy a little bit. You're one of my favorite comedians, dude.
Yeah. Finally.
Well, it's great doing the pod. We don't have to get into. I just wanted that title, and then I leave.
So it's funny because like this morning, right?
Yeah.
I was in my kitchen. I watched both your shows last night, and I'm like walking around doing weird shit, like making weird facial expressions, and I'm like. Like just doing weird shit, right? I'm like, and my son's like, Dad, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like,
You go watch House Money. Watch House Money and Hat Trick available on YouTube.
And so you put me in this weird mood where it's like a comedy mood, right? Like it's like
comedy Sade.
It's your facial expressions and your comedy is like your jokes, your facial expression. You got the whole thing. Your facial expressions, your the way you use your body. It's like kind of like Ben Stiller-esque.
I love Ben Stiller. He's great. Yeah.
You know, yeah. And I your physical comedy like literally like puts me in a funny mood. I love it. It makes.
Thanks, man.
But this morning I texted you. I'm like, hey Fahim, man, thanks so much for coming last night. You did a great job. You're really awesome set. What do you think about doing the pod at 12:30 today, man? You're like, yeah. And I just pictured you being like,
no, you know what it is? Because I've heard that. This is like a human thing, I guess, because I've heard this from girls sometimes that I'm pretty short on text, I suppose. Yeah. And it's sometimes people read into it, but I'm such an engineer, I guess. You know, I'm just very, what's the information that needs to get across in the fewest words as possible? And I just wrote, yeah. You know, I wasn't thinking like, oh, is that too short? Will you think I don't want to do it? No, I know you can handle it and all that. But some people, I have to remind myself that something like, even though the straightest point between A and B is a straight line, sometimes as humans I need to take a bend. I need to do some punctuation, throw some thanks so much, blah blah blah. But I was just kind of sleeping and I saw, and I'm like, that sounded good to me, so I just wrote
yeah. No, I love it. And I'm not I love that. The only reason I actually thought into it as a funny way is because I'm watching your comedy and all your
like I'm doing a character just in the kitchen. I'm like, yeah, and it's like throw the phone.
Yeah,
and,
it's
and
like
it breaks.
Yeah, you know.
Like I don't even read the phone. I just throw it away.
Exactly.
Well, the stage is fun. I like the space, you know. The Den, I was telling you, it's kind of like this in-between venue where, because I'm doing mostly clubs on this tour run, and then this is sort of like a hybrid where it feels half club, half theater, and that stage is so nice and the sound is so good. And I do have those qualities, so it's kind of nice when you have a nice stage and a nice space like that, then you can really sit in it and explore it. And you're really on display.
Right.
And the lighting's so great as well, so you can... I can do a heightened version of it even because it's a little more regal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you're like in a low ceiling club, that's fun too, but it's a little more understated.
Yeah. It is interesting that because we hear a lot about like that stage and how it works for comedy in a way that like a comedy room would, but it also is like it was originally built as a small theater. And so, yeah, exactly. It has that element, but a lot of it was kind of like luck in the way it turned out, like the ceiling height.
A lot of the best clubs are just sheer luck and happenstance. You could try to design a comedy club perfectly with all the knowledge you have and not get close to something that happened by mistake. Like the Comedy Store is an anomaly, you know? Like it used to be this jazz club or whatever, Ciro's nightclub. Back in the day, it was like a mob hangout too, and then it got converted into but it just works. There's 3 showrooms, and there's just something magical about the bones of that place.
It's totally magical.
And if you try
the layout is so crucial.
If you knocked it down, tried to rebuild it or put it somewhere, it just wouldn't be the same. Yeah. So sometimes just magical stuff happens by mistake.
A lot of the times it does. Maybe it's just happening everywhere to some extent, and some things pop up and make it and some don't. You know? But yeah, with the store, thanks for taking us on that tour when we were in LA.
Anytime. Yeah, I mean, you're at the store. I'm like, have you seen this place? Let's check it out.
Yeah, dude.
Well, what room were you in? Were you just there to like hang, or were you in a showroom? I forgot.
Yeah, no, we went to shows
Bounced
in
around.
all. Yeah,
so
we
you saw the main room, then the original room, and then
Yeah.
the belly upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never been before. Like, was kind of a trip to, I went with Julia, our talent buyer, and Q went too. And it was like, let's see what this comedy scene is about. Maybe we'll run into some people we know,
Yeah.
and we did. It was really cool because it was like, was not expecting people to know the Den, like comedians to know the Den. I was not expecting to be able to just walk back in that little hallway at the store and like run into you and run into all these other people that, and then even people that we didn't know. I was like, hi, I'm Ryan. I own this place, in Chicago called the Den. They were like, oh yeah, I know the Den. Like, the Den's awesome. Can't wait to play there. I was like, oh wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, I ran into Greg Fitzsimmons there.
Yeah,
and
look great.
Annie Lederman. And,
That hallway is
like,
just sort of Grand Central Station for all the comedians. Like, we're all going on tour, popping out, but during the middle of the week, we're all in the hallway. We're getting our stuff tight, trying some new stuff, and then the hallway's great. Like,
I don't want to give away like the secret, but what do you do, or like when people just come back, like wouldn't fans just come back there and like it doesn't seem like there's any.
You can't really. The thing is, you can't just like kick it there unless you're a comedian, really.
Yeah.
And no audience member thinks to kick it in the hallway.
Yeah.
Because you feel out of place. It would be like me just being in the Lakers locker room. I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be there, but
You're just standing there.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa.
See, that's what I
80s
love
locker.
about your comedy right there, man. It's like you and
you could see me in the locker room, huh?
Yeah, you're like you don't even have to. You've got the joke, but then another layer to it is like I don't even have to hear anything. I can just imagine you there looking like that.
Yeah, you see everybody getting dressed and just like a half naked AD, and like I'm like, why am I there? Why? And no one's saying, why is this guy here? And I'm there for way too long. Like after 40 minutes. So I was like, yo, whose man is this? Like, I thought it was with you. No. And I'm like, oh, I can't be here? I thought I could be here. AD, no. I love you, AD.
It's got to happen sometimes at the store where
random-
somebody's just standing there.
I mean, people, because you have to go through that hallway to get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So people are coming in and out, like not at all times, but that's the beauty of the store too. It's like an organism. Most comedy shows, people come in, they're loaded, they watch the whole show, and then, they're loaded in. And then they leave. But the store, it's a different comic every 15 minutes. You can come and go as you want. A lot of people, once a comic is done, they go to the bathroom, they do a smoke break, maybe they go have a drink with a friend, then pop back in. It's kind of cool and jazzy that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, there's that like front area where you can sit outside.
Yeah, right on
and, like,
Sunset Boulevard, that front bar patio area.
I think we
Yeah,
saw
free
Bobby
show.
Lee sitting
Yeah.
there that night, and it was just shooting the
fun
shit.
hang.
Like, and nobody messes with him too much.
No,
Like people just go.
everyone's the best, even fans. They're really, I don't know. They're nice. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe because it's LA and they're used to seeing people, but it's not like here. If you saw like Bobby Lee hanging out at the Den, you probably have a line of people pretty quickly that are like, "Hey, can we get a pic?"
Maybe because it's more rare out here or something.
Yeah.
But at the store, it's a storied place, and they kind of know that people are working, and be like, "Yo, like, can I get a picture? Is it okay?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Yeah.
So that happens all the time.
So when Joe Rogan left to Austin and built the mothership, did he? I mean, you said you probably can't replicate something like that. Did
hard.
he
It's very
try,
hard.
or
He
have you
did.
been there?
Yeah, in its own way, it's its own thing, but it is. You can tell the inspiration is the Comedy Store, and if there was someone who's going to replicate it, it would be Joe, because like he's a store guy. He has the money to do it. He has the will to do it, and he even iterated it a little bit as well. I think like he had the ceiling at a certain height, and then Louis was like, "Nah, like bring it down 3 or 6 inches, something like that would seem minuscule to anybody else." But Joe was like, make it happen.
Yeah.
And they redid it, and they brought the ceiling down lower. I think in
Do
the
you know
big
how
room.
many feet it is exactly?
The ceiling?
In the big room?
I don't know.
Because I've got opinions
This is such
about that.
like you're such a comedy space owner.
I know,
You think a
I'm like,
comedian?
oh, wow,
You think I'm
it's
like Rain Man when I'm on stage, and I'm like, definitely 25 feet. I go, hold on, guys, and I just have the measuring app on my iPhone. I
The laser, like, hits the ceiling.
I go, could you hold this, please? Let's get on the ladder. All right, now is anybody from out of town? And then I go into my act after. I just bring a tape. Like, why does he have a tape measure? Can he do this at the end? You guys have been a great crowd. Okay, and I call you immediately. It's called the How High Tour. My tour is called the How High Tour, and then I just tell the ceiling heights of all the venues I play.
And the stage. You're measuring the stage too.
measuring,
I want to
yeah,
know
yeah,
I want to know how big the
I just
stage
do
width
sonar
is.
at the end and go, like a bat, and then I just know how to draw it. I can replicate it for you. I'm not even a comedian. I'm just there to do recon, to build the perfect comedy space.
Dude, I want to go to the mothership, and
It's dope. Instead of 3 rooms, it's 2 rooms. So there's Fat Man and Little Boy. So Little Boy's kind of like, it's like the belly room. It's like a small kind of like kill box.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bigger room is, it's, if you had to describe the space, it's, the big room at the mothership is like if the main room and the OR had a baby. And then the little room is like if the OR and the belly room had a baby. So it kind of splits the difference between those rooms.
yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, dude, I love spaces. I don't know why. And I think like
I just want to go on a date and just be like, I love space. Like, that's why I brought you here. Just, the drinks are whatever. But
the space.
are you seeing the space? Are you occupying the same space I am?
But don't you think it's important to have
Good space?
to be wrapped around, like as a comedian?
Yeah.
So you know how with us
I wanna be
we've got a
swaddled.
thrust. Yeah,
wanna
you want to
be
be
swaddled by
you
an
want to be
audience.
swaddled, right? You need the audience kind of wrapping around you.
Did it ever happen to you? So comforting. I'm wrapped. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm the guy who texted, yeah. I'm so bare bones that sometimes I don't think about these things,
Yeah.
but maybe
Yeah.
subconsciously I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's not front forward for me. But I'm
Yeah.
bad at design and stuff. I don't notice. I had to pay a woman to interior decorate my place because
Yeah.
I don't think about space.
Really?
No. I'm like, I just need a couch and a TV. I'm like a serial killer.
You're like very mathematically minded. Almost.
I guess, or I just, it seems like side missions to me. It seems like such side missions.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I need a soft surface to sleep on. I need
Yeah.
a soft surface to like sit on.
Yeah.
I need to eat off of something, so I'll need a coffee table. I'll need to watch something. And then the rest, I have no taste or opinion. Someone's like, what color should I'm like, yeah, whatever you think.
Dude, I'm the opposite. Like
Well, I can
as
tell.
you
Look
as
at
you
this.
can
It's
tell,
like,
it.
It's like an eyes wide shut. It's a set of. I just feel like we're in between scenes on Eyes Wide Shut. Like everyone's a crafty. They're in robes, and then their dongs and tits will come out. Like, all right, back to one, guys. Back to Kubrick's masterpiece.
Oh man.
Yeah, we want. You're like, the theme I'm going for is stand up at an orgy. So you have fabric swatches, and you're like, okay, yeah, that'd be good.
You're right.
Especially this guy. This guy's fucking. Did I just like inadvertently nail you to a T? You're like, man, subconsciously I am trying to get Chicago's greatest orgy off the ground.
I think so, man. No, but this is the thing. I love this kind of stuff.
I mean,
have
it's
it-
cool. I
have
saw it, and I'm
everywhere.
like, whoa, that's neat.
But I like working from the outside almost, like a place like this with like I haven't even read half these leather-bound books. You know what I
don't
mean?
need to.
Like
it evokes a vibe.
it makes me
People
feel
aren't
a
gonna
certain
come in
way.
here and be like, oh yeah, did you read? I come in here, I'm like, ooh, spooky. I go, which one do I pull? And then the wall turns.
I know.
I'm like, this feels like a thing. They're not even books anymore.
We actually have one of those in here. One of those
That turns?
in the,
You didn't know this, but there
It
was
leads down to your dressing room,
There
actually.
was an escape room happening during your set. Things are really slow here, so during the stand-up comedian set, we have teams of buddies do an escape room, and they were trying to get out of your show, but they failed, so we charged them twice.
It's funny because there's a bookshelf downstairs that leads to your dressing room.
Yeah, just random people. Well, I'm trying to get ready for the second show.
Liz, I'm hearing this more and more. Liz Mealy was on and we were chatting, and she's like, Ryan, if I feel like if I put a blue light around here, I'm just saying there would be blood.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in the board game Clue. I could be bludgeoned with so many items in this room. Who is it? It's like the professor with the podcast mic, or the what's another one? I don't even know what to call it. What is this thing?
This guy, I love this guy, man.
yeah,
I don't even know what it is.
What did he
It's a
call
stand,
it? I wouldn't even know how to get one of those.
I'm gonna pull this up. Q,
Sure.
can I pull this? I'm gonna pull this up.
It would be
Front.
an honor to get bludgeoned by that.
Get bludgeoned by this.
Yeah.
Oh god. So this guy used to be in the front lobby. And this guy used to be in the front lobby.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing is sometimes I would come in, this is the early days of the den.
And its eyes would move. it would blink.
So-
Go, welcome.
Somebody had turned it, would turn it around. I think this freaked him out.
Ooh.
So it would, is this in the shot, Q? Yes. Okay. So like, yeah, somebody would just like turn it around every day. And I could never, for like a year, I could never figure out who the fuck it
You
was.
get a ring cam, and then you go.
Oh, yeah.
And then you sit them down. And you go, why do you think you're here? And they go, I don't know, I've been doing a good job and everything. I'm going to play something for you. You have a That's you, right? And that's you, and you're turning it, huh? Yeah? And you didn't think to tell me that you were turning it?
You're fired.
You're fired. That's not how we do things at Dan. We face faces outright.
I got to get more cameras, man. This is a big building.
Mm-hmm.
It's like our cameras are from like.
You put them in the bathroom and you go, look how much toilet paper you're using. You go, I think this is illegal. Hey, I'm the boss. Look at your butthole. You think that's clean? You put a camera in the toilet? I'm the boss. You have a dirty butthole. You're fired. I don't think you could do that. I'll see you in court. Nice try. I'll see you. I've been watching Suits.
Oh shit!
I'm representing myself.
All right, dude. I'm gonna put this.
But you can put
fucking
it back.
statue.
Yeah. And yeah, turn it away. I don't want to. I get it now. It's too much.
It's offending you,
It's
Fahim.
offending. It's like, yeah, looking into my soul. No, I can handle it.
All right. There we go.
How heavy is that?
This thing's fucking heavy, man. I'm gonna turn it.
It looks like elegant CrossFit. Like you just go there and everyone has regular weights, but you just have hoity-toity, heavy ass justice stands.
I do have a fucking rope, one of those battle ropes over there.
Oh yeah.
If we can go do it.
I do
if you
dental
want.
floss. I'm not strong. I'm just at the gym and I just have Johnson & Johnson dental floss. I'm wiped, guys.
Oh shit! Giant
Yeah.
pieces of dental floss. Oh man. So I noticed yesterday
Yeah.
you were really diplomatic and balanced in your political comedy.
Ah.
It was funny. I noticed like one of your first. It was like, I like Kamala, and then somebody was like, I can't remember what they said. Do you remember that moment? And then
yes.
you were actually making fun of her after that.
Oh, I know. But that's the beauty of stand-up is people don't know they're being bait and switched. Like, have you not been burned enough times by stand-up comedy to not just like knee jerk? Woo!
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
You don't know that I could be lying up here, or I'm saying one thing to drop
Yeah.
the book on the other. You know,
Which
so
you kind of
it's
do
been-
a lot. You kind of set those
But
things
enough,
up a little
I
bit.
think people know I'm not like overtly one way or another political. I just love jokes, and I will say whatever I need to get my idea. Like I look at jokes like a painting. It's kind of abstract, and I just want the joke to work. And whatever I need to say to accomplish it sometimes will make me look right wing, and sometimes it'll make me look super left and woke. Which is, I don't care. That's just collateral of, I need that to paint the painting.
Yeah.
And so I'm not, I don't write by party lines. I'm like, okay, what's the funny joke? Then what do I got to say to convey the idea? And an easy way in sometimes is like, I like, I like Kamala just as a precursor to it.
Right.
and people will feel a certain way about it. But it's I don't like marinate it. I don't go, I like Kamala. Because then that just gives so much opportunity for people to like interject and stuff. But it's
Right.
sort of like this, it's not incendiary or like, you know what I don't like about Trump, or it's not coming from a negative space.
Yeah.
And then it gets me into the joke. I mean, I don't want to say the joke or whatever, but it's pretty
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
harmless.
Because that's all new
But
material, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like a little switcheroo-y type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's funny when somebody goes, woo, or it goes like, you fucker.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you haven't even heard of like the second part.
Right,
of
but
it.
I feel like people are ready right now. I mean, that's definitely we're
'Cause we're
getting
so
so
close to the
close
election.
that people are on edge with it. They're like, "Oh, please, Fahim, don't be leaning this way or don't be leaning that way." You know what I mean?
right.
They're all just like, "What's gonna?" But that's where I feel. I guess my question is like, I notice how you guys comedians, I find a lot of comedians are going, okay, I could choose not to just go political at all, like or if I want to make fun of certain things, I'm going to either do, it seems like that's where you actually were pretty balanced. You made fun of, but like you were kind of making jokes on both sides.
Yeah.
But is that a choice or does that just happen naturally or?
Yeah, and just doing stand up for so long, it bores me to be so like right or left and like pulpity, just he's destroying like have some comedy where like I'm changing the world or whatever. I can appreciate it, or there was a time maybe when I was younger you're an idealist or whatever,
Yeah.
but we're all people. Everyone thinks they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm no more right as somebody else.
Right.
We're all trying our best, and I kind of want everyone to have a good time, and not in a vanilla way.
Yeah.
But I don't have to go so far this way or so far this way, or just I don't want to. It bores me. I would rather kind of maybe operate within here rather than here, and not alienate half the crowd.
Right. Right, because half the crowd is not thinking it. Like idealistically, I would love to always think as a crowd, I'm like, as an audience, I'm always like, because I'm a big proponent for like kind of freedom on stage. Like that's a place.
I could, and I'm allowed to, and the joke could be great, but I'm not like a hugely political comic anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sacrifice my entire set over like one really great joke that fucking swings too hard one way or the other. I don't need it. That's not what I'm trying to. If I was like Lewis Black or something, or like David Cross, who I love these guys, but that's their thing. Whereas I'm more like silly and observational, so it just makes no sense for me to go that hard. And also, I just like tapping a little bit, and I don't want to uppercut.
Right.
I just want to flick it and just bob and weave. I don't want to be like, this is what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
We're just destroying the fabric.
Right.
Because it's a comedy show at the end of the day.
Totally.
And it's just personal preference.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, getting into sort of like with your special, I heard that you got a little limited on YouTube because you said like the F.
I had some
a word, right?
Some suppression, some big tech suppression. It's an interesting time we live in because like Instagram, YouTube, these are great avenues and forums to put your art on it. But then it's this black box that you don't know how it operates, and you are beholden to whatever. It's not like you have a person at Comedy Central or Netflix and they are artist friendly, and you talk to someone in a department and it gets released to the people. There's so much content on YouTube. You're competing with like an unboxing video or some family vlog. So if something happens on your video, you can't be like, there's no person you're just kind of screwed. And you don't know what the rules are, and the rules are always changing. And there's not a fax that comes out every day. Like, okay, these are the new words you can and can't say on YouTube.
Right.
Because it'll change every couple months. So I thought I did everything that I needed to do. To do
like you were actually thinking about that beforehand.
Yeah,
you were like, I
get,
need this to reach as many people as possible, and I don't want to limit myself.
That's the whole point of dropping a YouTube special, because you could sell it, but then nothing really gets a ton of views anymore too, unless it's Netflix, and they have to be promoting it a lot too. We're reaching like peak saturation a little bit with some. There's just so many specials, especially not just on YouTube now, but like Netflix will have specials, but they don't push it. So that's not a great alternative either. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's a cool feather in your hat. Like, oh, I have a special on Netflix. But if they're not pushing it at all, they're not, saying newly released or a billboard, then you can get lost in the shuffle. And at least with YouTube, if you do a podcast, the algorithm, you can get kicked back up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my whole MO with YouTube and why comics put it on YouTube is they want to reach as many people as possible because everyone has YouTube. It's like running water. And so I wanted to dot my I's and cross my T's. Ari Shaffir did his YouTube special, and he was advising me. I'm like, yo, you have any advice? And so he was really nice, telling me all the things you do leading up to it. He was like, upload it 10 days prior so that YouTube does all its checks. Because if anything is wrong with it, it'll come up, and then you can edit it and then re-upload it.
This is before you make
Before
it
you go
live
live on it, yeah. So you just kind of upload it unlisted and just have YouTube run its checks. And if there's a green dollar sign, that means it's like totally fine and monetizable and it's not limited or anything. So I uploaded it 10 days early and it was great. But before I even uploaded it, I'm like, what are the words I can and can't say? He's like, okay, because I was pretty fine. I was worried about one word. There's a joke where a Ninja Turtle, Donatello's talking to Splinter, and he's like, what was it? I mean, what's the abridged version of the joke? I'm like, when I was a kid, I would rank the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I remember this joke.
In order of easiest to kill people with their weapons to hardest. And it's so funny because like all the guys in the crowd just like start nodding like they've done this as a child too, And I'm like, top of the list, easiest to kill people, Leonardo, 2 swords. And I'll just see guys with their girls like, this guy's done his homework. He knows what's up. And then I'm like, then Raphael, 2 sais. Then Michelangelo, 2 nunchucks. And I go, bottom of the list, Donatello. Because he just has a bow staff, which is like a big stick, essentially. I go, for him to kill somebody, he would have to snap and just go insane. Just bludgeon someone to death. Like, and they're like, Donatello, he's had enough. He's like, like it's just a pool of blood at this point. It's like, he's like, Splinter.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know what got into me. Normally, I'm very calm and collected. But he said purple is for baguettes is the replacement where the baguettes, and I lost it and I snapped. It's a joke, does well.
Yeah.
But so I had that in the special, and I go, I'm kind of worried about this word. Like I don't want it to get flagged. And he's like, oh no, you could say that. You could say that word. And I go,
thanks, sorry.
Are you sure? He's like, oh, I say it in my special. I say it like 3 times. Like I yell it. He goes, you can't say. He gave me the list of words like you can't say.
Don't say it.
I know I'm not gonna. Well, now I'm because even when I'm retelling the story, I don't want to.
It's fear. It's fear now, man. Like,
man, I'm thinking about the world we live in, just like how we think about where technology is going in society. We think it's gonna be Terminator with a metal foot and helicopters and with the metal face and like that. But it's really just Terminator has been influencing society with our language. Everyone's saying unalived, and so we don't want to upset the algorithm bot. So the algorithm bot is like, we thought it was going to be this monstrosity,
Totally.
super obvious, but we're just like, my brother unalived himself. You have to nerf your trauma because you don't want to be suppressed from the robots.
and it's constantly changing, right?
It's constantly
like,
changing.
Yeah. Like when you just said baguette, I was like thinking to myself, like, oh, what if it changes and then even like
baguette becomes the new slang. like mongoloid was unacceptable, but everything's full circle.
Like, and then it reverts.
Mongoloid's
Like,
back.
like let's say 2 years later, this podcast does something, and then
I'm
it's
doing
like
a press conference. I'm like,
but then
I'm sorry when I said baguette. I thought it was a tasty paste or what is it? Bread? I thought it was a bread. I did not know that it is a protected group. I support what they do. I just have a baguette pin. I support all the breads, sourdoughs, ryes. My cousin's rye.
Olive bread.
Olive bread. So he goes, you can't say these words. He told me what they were, and he goes, that one's okay. And there was a guy at YouTube who just took it upon himself, because he loves comedy, to be a little bit of a liaison between stand-ups and YouTube. So like best practices. So he works at YouTube. There's no department, and he just sort of took that role upon himself because he's just a fan and wanted to be helpful to comics. So I'm like, hey, I sent him the special. I go, yeah, I'm kind of like worried about this word. He's like, it should be fine. It's like, all right, and you do the check beforehand. So I'm like, all right. So then I do Rogan. I do the same blueprint as I did when I put Hat Trick out on. That was my first YouTube release. And I was happy with that. The whole business model for that was have it go live after when my Rogan episode comes out. So schedule Rogan and just have the special come out on the heels of that. Did great for Hat Trick. And then I'm like, let me do it again for House Money. I do Rogan, put House Money out. Same thing's going. And then it's climbing. It's doing great. I go live, and then maybe like a few hours into it, or a day, or I forget, but it was kind of close after I put it out or went live. Then it got hit with limited ads. So then the green dollar sign was yellow. And then you see the graph, and I can compare it to Hat Trick as well. It's just, it starts dipping. And it's because they can't run as many ads on that content because of that word. Because I was confused. I'm like, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then I got a hold of that guy, and he's like, yeah, it is that word. And I'm like, can I just like clip it out or something? Because I just went live, and it's suppressing the video. And he's like, because I human reviewed it. I'm like, okay, this is weird. You can click human review. So I clicked that. And then it was upheld. Like an hour or something goes by, and it says like upheld. And I'm like, oh yeah, I tried to do human review, and then it just was upheld. Can I just cut it out? And he's like, well, once it's been human reviewed and upheld, there's nothing you can do. So it's just like weird, arbitrary bureaucracy, red tape. They're not working with art. They're not artist friendly or anything because they're a tech company.
Right.
And it was just so frustrating that something I put my hard work for
your
touring the whole year,
money
my
in it?
money,
Yeah.
self-financed, and just like, oh, once it's been human reviewed and upheld, nothing can be done. It can't be taken off. That limited ads can't be taken off. I'm like, okay. And then I was told one thing too, and then why was it okay for that special months ago, and then now it's not? So the rules have changed, and the goalposts have moved.
Right.
And that's frustrating as an artist working in the dark. And then, what can you do? So it just kind of sucks, though, that I'm proud of the special and all that, but it didn't get the reach that Hat Trick was able to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And there was this other thing that happened, too. I mean, I made this video on my YouTube because all I could do was just sort of like vent about it and tell my experience, because some people this happens to. I'm not the only person this happens to, but you sit in it and you don't tell anybody. And I think if you're you work for a living, you have no idea kind of the struggles and what's going on behind the scenes with stand-ups and entertainment and like this new paradigm we're in. Like I was like shadow banned on Instagram for a while because I do my Fahim Works on Stuff show, and I just put jokes sometimes, and I just had one joke, and it was fine for a while. It was up there, and it was totally fine. The joke, I just go, it's just like a total non sequitur. I just go, I just want you guys to know, like, Hamas is hiding at my ex-girlfriend's house. I just want to put that out there. And the subtext, I mean, it gets a huge laugh. The subtext is just like, they will bomb anywhere you just say Hamas is hiding,
right.
So the whole, because it was that tense time.
yeah.
So to me, it's just funny, like, you just say Hamas is hiding somewhere and it'll get bombed indiscriminately.
Right.
So did well. It was on Instagram for a while, and then my shit just got like shut down for a few months. It was, I forgot what there was these things. You go in it and it won't promote your stuff. It won't show you new followers.
Yeah.
There's all these strikes. And then they started retroactively looking through stuff I posted like a year or two ago, and they took that down just because it said Taliban on the thumbnail. Like the joke was about, it was like a silly joke about the Taliban.
It's getting
But
flagged.
it was
and
just
all
doing
these,
like internet scraping.
Yeah.
This machine was just scraping for buzzwords. And I think it saw Hamas on the thumbnail. And because these aren't people looking at jokes and thinking about intent and a person on stage and comedy. It's just word, take off, ban, word, take off, ban. And there's no one you can reach. And so I'm at a big agency. I'm at a
Sounds like
talent
a bad Black Mirror episode right now, like a scary Black Mirror.
it's very low
episode. It's like-
stakes.
yeah, no, low
It's
stakes
very
now,
low
but you can
stakes.
see like the next level is like, oh, the drone like recognized this
Yeah,
thing and
there's
now
this
it's coming to your
weird-
house.
And it seems low stakes, but then this is my job and my livelihood
Right.
and how I sell tickets on the road and reach people, and they just turn your faucet off.
They're trying to figure it out. It doesn't seem like anybody really knows exactly how to
And it's always
manage all
changing.
this. It's like,
and they're a big tech company, so are they supposed like? Is there a guy like, hello, you need help? They can't have a concierge service for Instagram, so I get it from their end as well. But when I was shadow banned for 2 months or whatever, I was just like, how do I get this fixed? I knew some influencers. I'm like, do you have a contact? And then my agency, because I'm at a big agency, they were able, like, they had contacts, and eventually they were able to get it lifted. But I was trying to find people who worked at Facebook, and I'm fortunate that I'm in this position, but this is happening to people all over the world, and there's nothing they can do.
right.
So I'm just lucky that I was at a place that was able to reverse it. But if I wasn't, I would still just be in the shadows, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can just do that, and I don't know what the rules are, you know.
I don't think there are
and they
rules.
Just, they just
and
change them.
I mean, there's some government regulations, right, with saying things because I mean, I get it on an extreme end. I mean, you don't want like
Yes.
terrorist organizations
Yeah.
or whatever like utilizing these apps,
Right,
these
right.
platforms. So like I get
But
some
if it's
kind
a
of
guy doing a
regulation,
joke
but-
and they just say a knee-jerk bad word or whatever it
Yeah.
is without context, it's like banning without context.
yeah, right,
There's just a lack of context with tech.
right.
So, it's interesting. So now I dissect things now. I go, is it worth it? I might have a
Yeah.
great joke, and I'm like, I don't need to risk it.
right.
I'll take it out. Especially if you're trying to do it on your own, bootstraps, not through a Netflix or
Yeah.
HBO. You just like, okay, how do I reach the most people? But there's this fine line because you don't want it to be you don't want to cut the edges off so much that it's anodyne.
one of the reasons people love comedy, right? Is that it's this realm where, you know, it's why our comedians right now are kind of seen as rock stars in some ways. It's like they can say what everybody kind of thinks inside. Like you're given permission to laugh at something that's like just on the edge, you know?
Yeah. I feel like
lot of
that's
ways.
my comedy's gotten a little bigger is that's been dwindling what you can say in just
Yeah.
regular, or we're a little more sensitive in day-to-day life. And then comedy is the complete antithesis to that. So it's almost like Fight Club or something. Like, oh, cool. This is a safe space where we can explore these ideas and not get canceled because
Yeah.
you're holding a microphone.
Like I got kids in a family unit, right? And if I'm like coming down on if my kid thinks a certain thing, it's like how am I going? And I think a different thing, right? And I'm like my kid, what am I going to cancel my kid? Like I think you just need to think about it with compassion, right? To be like everybody's.
Well, it's like having nukes. You have like we didn't know we had nukes. We were just like blasting everyone, and you didn't.
Yeah.
We needed like an Oppenheimer. You needed to see the result of dropping the bomb
Right.
before you're like, maybe
Right.
we should be a little more discerning with dropping these bombs.
It's discerning. I think it's incumbent on anyone who's going to cancel someone to like or try to be like, look, if you want to wield that like a bomb, like you know, it's like unturn every stone. Make sure like this is correct to do. Put the effort in, right? Because like if you live in a world where everybody is like, it's a cheap move to be like, oh, I see how I could cancel that person, and I'm not even going to do my work. I'm just going to do it. Like,
well, it's
it's
fun.
cheap,
It's
right?
It's fun to just like doxing someone or swatting someone on Twitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one
Yeah.
no one thinks like all the steps sometimes.
I know.
But yeah, I think the pendulum is shifting in comedy the other way a little bit. People are
Loosening up,
loosening
right?
up
I do feel
and willing
like
to
they're
see
loosening
jokes
up.
for jokes,
Yeah.
as paintings, and because it's exhausting to cape for however long we've done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, everyone's intent's in the right place. Like they want to
Yeah.
protect the people. So the comics are trying to tell a joke. But I think there's atrophy. I think that's why the Tom Brady roast was so vicious and people loved it. It's like one of the most watched
Yeah.
ones. It's just like, oh, a return to just jokes and hugs afterwards.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was great.
They just roasted
Yeah,
him.
they just went hard.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching it, and I'm a comic, and I can't believe they're getting away with it, but I love it. I'm like, oh, cool. I definitely feel like that roast was a pivotal.
Everything
like that in like Shane's whole arc. What's happened with that?
Everything takes context, though, doesn't it? And that's the
Context,
problem.
And it's such a referendum, though. Like Shane being as big as he is right now, and like Tony after his cancellation, and like Kill Tony being the biggest thing, and that Netflix roast. It's such a referendum of where comedy was headed and where the Suits thought comedy was headed, and pointing society to, because people vote with their money. I just saw like Shane. He just set the biggest attendance record at Wells Fargo. It was like 20,000 some people. This was the guy that they were putting on a rotisserie, like how long ago? Then he hosts SNL, and it's like now they wanna the people who are trying to bury him or like dropping all. They're just like, can I? All they care about is money. People are only what is it? Appalled and like, is it abhorred?
abhorrent.
I don't know. Yeah. Something's abhorrent, or people are appalled when they're no longer a revenue stream for the management company or agency. Once they can't lay golden eggs anymore, they're like, this is not how we do things. We had no idea. What? They can't make us money? It's easy to kick somebody when they're down. But if if they're still generating income, like nobody. And that's why these people are able to resurrect. They're not even resurrect but these people can do a complete 180 because they are printing money, and they go, I want some of that. Did I say that thing? Oh, no, I didn't. You go, yeah, you did. You're just wearing a nice suit. What? You're making money. Let me help you. But I'm making a lot on my own. Then I could go to lunches and talk about you.
Well, I don't know. I kind of see that. Is that just not the natural way of things in terms of like, all right, Shane or whoever didn't have the leverage earlier on. So like when he was
it's like someone they
and now he's got it, and now he can choose.
It's almost like shorting GameStop. These guys just thought, okay, this is what happens. No, you don't say that. He's out of Hollywood. No, sorry, you guys are radioactive. And then society is like, no, he's a funny guy. I like his stuff. I like it better than the slop you're pumping through this faucet. This seems more exciting, especially in comedy. Comedy is supposed to feel dangerous. Comedy is supposed to feel exciting. Comedy is supposed to feel like third raily, not like I'm edgy with every fucking word I say. You have to be deliberate and choose your moments.
Sure.
That's why Burr's great. That's why, people love just these well-executed, dangerous ideas sometimes. Like, that's what's exciting about stand-up. And if you're just worried about offending GE, or you think society, you're trying to like kid gloves, you don't want angry emails from... traditional media is such a dinosaur, and they were able to operate that way when they were the only game in town.
Right.
But you're like Tylenol, and you're trying to compete with black tar heroin. It's the internet. You're not. You have different standards. You have so many overlords. If you work in comedy, you have so many overlords who have to like check okay in TV and film and traditional distribution streams. The internet, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Sometimes you get dinged, like you say baguettes or whatever, but as a whole, you can do much more exciting things on the internet.
Yeah.
And you're beholden to really nobody. You don't have to do it along party lines. You don't have to do it. You don't have to worry about sponsorships. You don't have to worry about. Yeah, you just get away with way more on the internet, and that's conducive to comedy.
Right. That's beautiful.
The death of comedy is you can't say that. You can't say they might get offended. You can't.
Right.
No, it's just like be funny. The only network note is be funny. That's what the internet is. Just anything else? No.
Made me think of that joke you had, the opposite of that, where you went to, where was it in the Middle East?
Yeah,
like totally restricted in every way.
Yeah, like, and I didn't even know until I'm about to go on. So it was this was like the Fire Fest for comedy in Saudi Arabia. It was a Jeddah, this comedy festival. Because when you think Jeddah, you think comedy festival. Like these guys, these guys love to laugh.
Totally.
I mean, the joke was like, I go, you want to hear about the most money I ever made doing stand up?
Yeah.
And then they go, like, yeah. I go, all right. So it's this comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, and I'm like, it was just so much money. I go, I'm not a journalist. I should be fine. I'll be okay. I'm just trying to give chuckles to the people. I'm not writing a story. So, yeah, I'm about to go on, and then they have these like guys who tell you what you can, and he's like, you can't talk about sex, you can't swear, you can't talk about religion, you can't just all these. I'm about to go on, and I just have a microphone. Like, you know how hard stand-up is with blue sky, limitless. It's still pretty hard.
Right,
You can do anything, and he's like, no swear, no. And then you're just having to do like the calculus in your head before they introduce you. And I'm like, what am I gonna do for? And then the joke is like, then they showed me the check, and I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
and I just go, and I'm just like, tap. I don't even know how to tap dance, but I'm like, and I'm
You
just,
don't
like,
even
doing
say
shadow puppets, like,
anything.
they have no frame of reference. They're like, oh my god, this guy, he's the best.
This guy.
I love him. Oh my god, I've never seen fake tap dancing like this before. But they didn't promote it very well. So it was beautiful venue because they just, oil comes out of the faucets over there. And but they didn't promote it. The weird thing about Saudi Arabia is that everyone just has tons of money. Everyone's a trust fund kid, pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Everyone has so much money. So working hard and like doing things is not tied to your income. So it's just sort of they just got a bunch of money to put on some comedy festival because I think they were trying to get the culture forward because it was so suppressed for so long. Mm-hmm. Like even the guy driving us to the gig, he's like, you couldn't turn up music in your car or there was a DJ and stuff. And he's like, this wasn't happening. They're trying to make up like what America has done culturally for 100 years. They're trying to do in
Very
5
short amount of time.
Yeah. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of tough. Yeah.
Let's call it Fahim.
So they want to. I think they're trying to get away from just oil and they're trying to branch out. So there was a boxing match when I was there too. This like they're trying concerts and things. So they just want to drive the culture forward and maybe shift it away from oil. So it was this. It just was run. It wasn't advert. There was like nobody there. It was beautiful venues. Everything was great about it, but like hardly anyone was there. And
So
they
the
paid the
houses
comics
weren't
so
full
much
and-
money. Yeah, the houses weren't. It was hardly anybody.
Why did you do it? Were you
Because the money was insane. And also the way that in the contract they go, we will pay you half before you get on the plane, and then half when you land. So they would like wire half, and I'm like, okay.
like before you even do
Yeah,
the
in the
show?
contract. So yeah, you would get like half of it before you go, and then it came and they got the flight. They flew it business class. It was like amazing, amazing first class. And they didn't wire the money, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how legit. I go, I've never been there. That's an experience. I'm not doing anything really. If I don't get on the plane, I know I'm not gonna get because I got zero money yet. I go, I won't even get that money if I don't get on the plane. If I get on the plane, there's a chance that maybe I get this money. All right, So then I do the gig, still no money. And then for months later, a lot of the comics, they paid some and not others. And we're like, hey, did you get your money? They're like, no, did you get your money? Nobody had it for like maybe 6 months or something. It was crazy. And we're trying to get a hold of them, and they just weren't paying. I don't even know if I should be telling this story. Am I going to die? You might have to edit this out. I don't know. So we just weren't getting paid. And I don't think it was they were trying to stiff us. I think that they're just so rich, or the guys who are running it. It's like telling Bill Gates, can you get me stamps from the post office? Mm-hmm. He's got bigger. It's such a
totally.
nuisance.
No.
They don't understand.
That's what I thought when you were saying it.
This
I was
money
like,
could change my life.
Yeah.
And that's
They're just
a candy bar. That's a candy bar.
We'll
to
get
him.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, why are you worried about this amount of money? So I think they just had bigger fish to fry or something.
Totally.
But eventually, finally, they did. And even through that emotional roller coaster, it was so much money. I was like, when can we do it again? I'll do it again.
I'll do it every year.
It was terrible, but I was like, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your plans coming up? Where are you headed next? Special wise,
Yeah.
tour wise, you got a big tour coming up, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is what, third stop on it or fourth? So yeah, the tour is Intrusive Thoughts Tour. Um, I'm trying to think when it ends. Sometime in 2025. So the model is hit all the cities and then at the end of it, probably record a special. I don't know where I'm gonna do it. I don't know what the venue is, but yeah, carry on with the tour.
Hey man, we're
Hey, thanks,
we're
man.
always
I
here.
feel like when I film a special, I want to hit the city that I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
So it's like I already did.
Of course.
But I
Yeah.
mean, thank you so much. It is a great space. Something to think about. Chicago's a great
Yeah.
comedy city.
Thanks.
Maybe the next one. But that's a lesson I learned from the last one too. Is save 3 great comedy markets that you have towards the end of your tour to shoot at one of them.
Yeah. What are some of the best markets for you?
San Diego's good. LA's good, obviously, because I'm there. New York, Toronto, Dallas, Austin. Just like San Francisco's good. Just major metropolitan cities. I'll tell you where I wasn't good. I mean, that's an easier one. Just anything that's kind of a small, because I'm not big enough to crush it in like a second tier. I mean, it sounds so elitist, like a second tier city. But if you are
Some smaller cities.
smaller,
yeah,
like
yeah.
a smaller market, like San Antonio.
Yeah.
San Antonio's not great for me. Houston's not great for me. Dallas was great. Austin was great. And then sometimes things will come through, like Milwaukee Improv. I don't know if maybe I'll wait on Milwaukee. Maybe I'll do a one-nighter there.
You should look at Comedy on State.
That's great though. Like that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You can just be a really funny, even 8-year comic, and they just have such a trust and built-in audience that they just trust the club, and the club sells tickets itself almost because
It does.
yeah,
Yeah.
And there's just a great comedy culture.
Yeah. We want to get to that point. But I mean, I think they have, the university right there, and like, it's just, the location, everything. And apparently the people that run it, I haven't met them yet, but I hope to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're building a really strong product. Everybody that comes
Everyone
through
raves
here.
about it. Yeah. Like Comedy Works in Denver and
Yep.
Comedy on State are kind of the two North Stars, I think, for a lot of comedians. Like, you never hear bad things about that. The Den,
Yeah.
we're getting there
Get in there.
because they knew about you when you came to the store. Yeah, so just tour, and then I'll put the special out at the end. I'll film it and then put it out. We'll see if I want to do YouTube again or maybe try to do a streamer because I have 3 specials on YouTube. My first one I did for CISO, which was like Peacock 1.0. It was NBC's first foray into streaming.
Okay.
And then that went belly up, but I mean, it allowed me to shoot my very first special, which is cool. And then Comedy Central bought it, and they had it on their YouTube for a while, but then they stopped licensing it. But I uploaded it on mine, and it's okay for some reason. So I have 3 on my channel. My channel is just youtube.com/Fahim Anwar. So I have my first special. There's no business like show business on there, and then Hat Trick is my second special, which I filmed at the Comedy Store. I do all 3
awesome.
rooms.
Yeah.
And then the most recent one was House Money, and I shot that one at Nashville. Zany's in Nashville.
Nice. How's that?
It was great. It was fun. Yeah.
I wanna check
Because that
that
was
out
one of those
too.
instances where I'm like, oh man, I toured already. I did all my cities. I don't know where to. And then my agents were like, Nashville's good. We've heard good things about. You should do it at Zany's. And it worked out. Like I got lucky. I'm like, because I had never performed in that space before until doing that special. And normally, if you do a special, you kind of want to like know it a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to know the bones of a place.
Yeah, totally.
But it worked. I got lucky. But this go around, I'm gonna save 2 or 3 venues that I love and just like cool markets, and then I'll shoot it. It's just peace of mind.
Yeah. God, man, not to get back into spaces.
Yeah, you.
But dude, if
Like this
you
guy's
come
space,
across
yeah.
anyone who's got money,
Great space. Oh
you
yeah.
wants to.
I'd be like, I've got this
I
space
know how
savant.
to. I know the ceiling height.
You've got
Fahim's gonna
money.
get me the information.
just
With
picture-
he's gonna measure all
Yeah,
the every
Just some guy's got a
perfect
cigar, and I just picture you in a space just going out there. And he's like, what is he doing? And I'm like, let him cook. This is coming to you. Yeah, you just wait and you go, bar over here. seats here. Like
Totally.
it just came to you all
I
at
got it.
once.
Where the lighting should be,
Lighting here,
sound,
microphone here, and then you
how
go,
the audience should be
like you're wiped.
be dispersed around the stage, the height of the stage. I got it all, man.
This guy's good. I'll write a check. I'll write you half. I'll write you half right now.
We don't even have to call it the Den.
What do we call
We
it?
just can't do it in Chicago.
Because you already have this.
Call it
You want
whatever.
somewhere else?
Yeah. No, I think it would be good to do a Den. Do another Den.
Yeah, franchise, dude. Be McDonald's. Yeah?
Why not? Why not? If I could build a space that was perfect for specials, the cameras are already built in, like everywhere that you would want.
Well,
Maybe they're
the
a little
audience wears
adjustable.
GoPros on their head,
Yeah.
so you have a vantage point from every seat.
Ooh.
And then the comedian has a GoPro on his head for crowd work.
Full immersive
full
experience.
immersion. And then we'll also have 8 drones. So just throughout the special, you just hear. This ever happened to I had this sketch idea because crowd work is so big. Every clip is crowd work, you know? Because that's what people like and the algorithm. But the algorithm is just code for people. People love what's going to happen because it's like a fight.
Right. Totally.
They want to,
Spontaneous.
It's a fight. It's a verbal, yeah. You don't know how it's going to end. That's what's interesting about somebody who wants barbecue sauce at McDonald's. Like when a video starts like that, you're like, I need to see how this turns out. And that's what crowd work is. So, but some of these shots they're getting nowadays, there's people on stage, like, to get these shots, it'd be like, all right, this next guy blowing up on the internet, you probably know him from all the crowd work, give it up for blah, blah, blah. Then he comes out, and like 10 guys with like cameras come out, and there's like a boom mic operator. Like, it's not even about the stand-up experience anymore. It's just like a mini production
Can we
to get some
capture
crowd,
this crowd work?
Yeah. And he's
They're like
"Hey,
ready."
Thank you. What do you do for work? Just immediately, and then the boom guy is like,
If I
and
was an
there's, like,
audience member, I'd be like,
yeah. And then the drone guy comes out, like, because he does crowd work with the back of the room too. He's like, oh, don't think you're safe. And the guy just has. And he's like, okay. He has a monitor. He's like, oh, that's a fucking weird mustache, huh? Nice mustache, G. Like, he's the only comic that does crowd work from the back of the room. But just having 10 production people to crank out these clips, it's just funny to me.
right in your face, man. As an
Yeah.
audience
But you don't.
member.
But
You're like,
you don't.
oh,
You
shit.
see it if you're live at the show, but then when you see the clip cut together, it's like Christopher Nolan. You're like, whoa, I've never seen crowd work shots like this before. How did they do this? And you go, it's because there was 20 people on stage.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, what do you do for work? Take one.
Can you do it again
Rolling.
just like that, but change this up?
Just like that, but say you're fucking her this time. All right. Crowd work, take 10. Okay. I like you bringing the chicken fingers across here, and then when you dropped one of them, he had that line. Spontaneous comedy, take.
Spontaneous. Oh shit, man. You know, it's you're not that far off though, man. It's gonna go that way.
Hyperbole, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, we've already so the most I've ever seen of that is Morgan Jay's. Like he was here, right? And he does he works he spends half his time in the audience, and he's got a buddy.
It's an immersion thing. It's music. It's it's like a night out. It's a different. But I'm being a curmudgeon. I'm being like a comedy purist, whatever. Like,
No,
it has its virtues and all that, but it's funny. It's funny.
Oh,
to, like,
totally.
It's funny to jab.
It's funny to take it
Jab a little
to its extremes
Yeah.
for sure. Well, Fahim, man, it's been a pleasure chatting,
Thanks for having me.
hanging out a
man.
little bit. I love when you
Yeah.
come to Chicago.
Yeah, this is a great spot to have in the hopper right now. Like every year, like okay, cool. I get to do the Den. I get to hang in Chicago.
Well, good luck with your tour.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we'll post links and everything below, and all
Smash that
jazz.
like button.
Smash the like.
Hit subscribe.
I don't know how to do any of that shit, but
Yeah, just hit some
yeah.
buttons, and then that's how old I am. Just fucking hit some. I don't know where it is. Just does that cover? Is it 3D? I don't. Have you have an Oculus on? Just do that. If you're in the metaverse, just do that. And yeah, come to my page, youtube.com/Fahim Anwar. All my specials are on there. I do a weekly series called Fahim Works on Stuff, where I'm just like trying ideas for the first time in the belly room at the Comedy Store. And yeah, subscribe to my channel. and this one.
And House Money. Check out House Money. 'Cause
hat
House
trick.
Money.
No business
hat
like
trick.
show business. Just do a Lord of the Rings have a Fahim night. Whoever you're dating, subject them to this, and just say it's Fahim or you. So you're either in or you're out. This is my weeding out process. It's Fahim and chill. It's not Netflix
Fahim
and
or
chill.
you.
Yeah. You go, if you're not into this, then you bye.
Dude, my wife's face, if I said that to her, would just murder me on the spot. It would just be like I would just die immediately. It would be like she would just.
Nice it's nice that it's sudden, right? Instead of a prolonged thing.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Just fucking
Sudden death. Oh, come on.
that'd be nice, right? With that, thank you for joining us today.
The Fiji is done. You know what that means.
Cheers.
We're not even sponsored.
No, we're not. Oh, maybe we will be soon. All right, Fahim, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for sticking around, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Fahim Anwar, one of my all-time favorites. FahimAnwar.com. All his tour dates are there. Go see him live. Links are down below. Please like and subscribe if you got something out of this, and leave a comment if you can. We'll see you in the next one.